Hello and welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. Today on the show, I am going to be giving a little bit of a talk on branding and adding your own personality to joinery, and why I feel like putting yourself on display is often an important aspect when it comes to marketing and branding. A lot of business owners don't fully understand the importance of showing who they are to their customers, and today I want to talk a bit about why I feel like it's important and what you can do to maximize this idea. The Joinery Business Podcast is sponsored by MaxCut Software. MaxCut is a small software business focusing on the cabinetry industry. Their main purpose and goal is to empower cabinet makers to estimate, cut, and complete cut list jobs more efficiently and easily without breaking the bank. Visit the MaxCut software website linked in our description to try the free community edition of MaxCut software to see what MaxCut can do for you. If you have any questions about today's episode, be sure to jump on over to the Joinery Business Hub on Facebook. Now, without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. This is my first time kind of jumping solo onto the podcast, and it's not something you're probably going to see a whole lot of, just to be upfront. I'm someone who's much more behind the scenes. I like to sit behind Adobe Premiere and edit videos and Pro Tools and edit podcasts all day. That's kind of my specialty. But through working through the Joinery Coach and the Marketing Joint, there's a lot I've kind of seen, and a lot I feel like business owners aren't taking full advantage of when it comes to marketing and putting their business on display. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I see all of these business owners, and a lot of them have the same mentality around business and joinery in their own business, but every person is different as well. I'll explain a bit what I mean by that. The joinery industry is seen as a trade, which falls into the category of all of its workers and business owners being tradies. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But with that comes the idea that it's an industry that kind of lacks creativity or personality, and I just don't really see that as true. Every single business owner we talk to is completely different. They all have a completely different perspective on the industry, a different upbringing, a different reason why they got into joinery, a different outlook on how they think joinery is beneficial to customers. And all of these things are really important when it comes to marketing and creating a brand, because branding is not singularly what colors you choose, what symbols you choose to put behind your business logo, that kind of stuff. It's not solely that. A lot of what branding comes down to is the personality behind your business. And I think it's important to have that on display through yourself, or maybe somebody within your business who you feel like is an apt personality to put behind your business. Somewhat the idea of putting a face behind the brand. If you think of other businesses that are wildly successful, such as like Bunnings, McDonald's, there's certain kind of like triggers that come to your brain when you think of these things. If I were to say Bunnings, you immediately think of that song that plays during every ad. It's so iconic, we all think of it right away. This is kind of an important aspect of it, right? It's that kind of thing. Right away, you think of it. You think of those interviews with the employees where they're, talking to somebody behind the camera, talking about how much they love working at Bunnings. If you were to think of like McDonald's, for example, those colors immediately come to mind, but you think of kind of being in a McDonald's and you hear those kind of bleeps and bloops that happen behind the desks. It's these kind of things that immediately come to mind, and I feel like it's an important aspect to utilize within your joinery business. You want to be able to create a brand that when people think of your joinery business, they immediately think of you or some aspect of your branding. It comes to mind like that. A lot of the websites we come across for joinery businesses are bland, white pages. Maybe they've written like a novel about why they got into the industry or why they feel like their joinery stands out. And all that stuff is important, but from the perspective of a customer, they're not really going to sit down and read a novel's worth about your business, and especially if the first thing they see when they come to your website is a blank, just kind of white website, just bare bones, they're probably going to move on to somebody who looks a bit more professional. With that, comes the idea of obviously putting a bit more effort into your website. But there's even smaller things you can do ahead of that, such as creating maybe just a short video of yourself, basically going over what you would write in your About Us anyway. Creating a little video showcasing yourself and what you believe in this industry is, I think, really important. This isn't to say you need to write a perfect script and say all the exact perfect things, because often just showing yourself is enough. As a customer, we want to look for other people that we relate to and we feel like we can trust giving our money to give us a reliable product or service. If you've put up a video on your website, people can see this right away. They can see you, they can hear your voice, they immediately have a face to put behind the business, and they have something that they can believe in if you put forth your beliefs within Joinery and how much you feel like your joinery stands out from the rest of the industry. Creating this kind of branding or putting your face behind your business, or even just putting out little snippets of you like on site or in the factory, stuff like that, it creates a stable face to put behind your business. We look at someone like Leroy, who does a lot of this kind of stuff, and we see that a lot of customers often kind of have this mild starstruck quality because they meet Leroy and they see that he is a real person. Everything he puts out on social media is exactly who he is, and they can see that immediately in person. He's not trying to put on some kind of front. He's not writing perfect scripts that he obviously can't then replicate in real life. He's being himself, and we often see that within the Joinery Coach as well. We find that by doing this podcast or putting out other videos online, the clients and people that we talk to often go, oh, like this is really you. Like this isn't a front. You're not lying to us. The YouTube and podcast version of yourself is not different from the real life version of yourself. And that can be really effective in getting new clients because they see that you stand behind what you talk about. You're exactly who you're putting out. And that, again, that's not to say like there's a right and wrong personality. It's just about putting yourself out there and showing who you are. And clients can kind of have what I refer to as like this mental safety net. The mental safety net being that if something were to go wrong or they have any questions or any kind of offshoot ideas, they immediately have someone they know that they can reach out to, and they have a face behind the business they're talking to. Personally, myself, I don't really like ordering from companies that are faceless or don't really have some kind of human element, such as like Temu or Catch.com. Like these feel like robotic entities to me, and I would never order from them because I feel like if something were to go wrong or I were to get scammed, that'd be my own fault because obviously this service does not have a human element. If your website and online presence as a joinery business is much the same, you haven't put many faces out on your social media, you haven't posted much or come up with some kind of like branding or showcased your own personality, it can come across the same, and it gives this kind of robotic feeling from an outside perspective that there's this big wall in the way that they're not allowed to look behind. But by just showing yourself, showing a little bit about what you believe in, it can really go miles in a customer's mind and showing, oh, this is somebody I can trust. Now, I don't necessarily want to turn this episode into like a plug on what the Joinery Coach offers, but we do offer services like this at the Joinery Coach and the Marketing Joint. If you're looking to create testimonial content or even just what I've described today, just a little piece about yourself, talking about what you believe in joinery and how you think your business stands out, this is something we can work with you on to put together. And I myself am a music producer, so if we can create some original music that you can use in your marketing and to put on social media along with your videos. This kind of thing of having consistent kind of sound musical motif can sometimes really elevate your business because they immediately have a sound that they can associate with your branding. This is why, you often see other businesses like McDonald's use, the ba 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 ba, or, Bunnings constantly using the same kind of sounding song throughout all of their ads. It creates a consistent thing within the consumer that they hear over and over. They think of your business, they think of the sound, they're immediately comfortable. And this is something we can work with you on at the Joinery Coach. If you were to reach out, we could work with you in creating a video like this, putting together a piece of music, something that works for you, and seeing what we can come up with that I think would really elevate your business. Anyway, I hope this little podcast today helped kind of bring a new perspective on why I feel like adding your personality to your business is really important. We see so many business owners in this industry and everyone is different. And I often think if some of these business owners were to put themselves into the face of their marketing, I feel like their businesses would do a lot better because there's so many personable people we meet that are so kind, have so much personality and humor to offer, or even just a new perspective that we'd never really heard before. It's these kind of aspects that really elevate things, and I hope showing my perspective on this can help the industry grow a little bit more. Anyway, Bruce always struggles with the sign off, and now I can see why. I hope you all have a great week, and I hope this podcast helped today. We'd love to hear feedback or what your thoughts are, what works, what doesn't work. We're always looking to change the podcast and grow, so any new comments and perspectives are always welcome. Anyway, have a great week. I'll see you later.